My name is Dr. Jonathan Beatty. I'm a naturopathic doctor here in Ontario. Serrapeptase is an anti-inflammatory enzyme that's used to help break down the proteins that guide inflammation in the body. Well, serrapeptase is different from digestive enzymes because although it will help digest certain proteins in the diet, its actual main use is to be taken away from meals and to be used to break down inflammatory proteins that drive inflammation in the body. Serrapeptase is produced synthetically now. We've found yeasts that can now produce the enzyme. Although originally it did come from a silkworm, now they've got more efficient ways to produce it and still maintain the integrity of the compound, maintain its activity, but really bringing the price down into a much more affordable range. Serrapeptase is rated by Serratia units, so it's basically the measure of its enzyme activity. And so each enzyme is generally rated by what their action is. And so instead of looking at something and how many milligrams, you look at how active is the actual component. Because there can actually be a variety of enzymes that have a serratiopeptase activity. So it's always rated in Serratia units. Serrapeptase is usually recommended for a number of reasons. Everything from traumatic injury and inflammation caused by that, right down to chronic inflammatory states such as arthritis, cardiovascular disease. I've even seen it being recommended in protocols for diabetes because all of those conditions can be related to or have an inflammatory component related to them. So anywhere where inflammation is part of the disease, typically you'll find serrapeptase functional. Serrapeptase, there's only one real major safety concern with it. Because of its ability to break down certain proteins, it can actually thin the mucus. So anybody with a lung infection should avoid its use during that time, as it can actually thin the mucus to the point that it can induce pneumonia. So anybody with an upper respiratory tract infection or who might suffer from an upper respiratory tract disease, they should avoid something like that. So it's best if you have any concern like that to consult your doctor before trying it. Enteric coating is the process by which a capsule or a granule is covered in a thin coating that allows it to bypass the stomach acid. So in something like serratiopeptase, where it's a protein, it prevents that protein from being destroyed by the stomach acid, allowing it to be in full use into the intestine for absorption and utilization by the body. 60,000 units of serrapeptase is typically used as a maintenance dose. So anybody with a chronic inflammatory condition such as osteoarthritis or even heart disease who's looking to maintain would use a level like that, or for a slower action if they're looking at it kind of long-term healing. Because of its safety factor, serrapeptase can pretty much be used with just about everything. There's nothing you really have to concern yourself with the use of serrapeptase. The only real considerations with it is that it should be ideally taken on an empty stomach and ideally be an enteric coated form for maximum absorption and to prevent it from just being used up, breaking down the proteins in your diet. Which is why it's advised on an empty stomach. Results that have been seen with serrapeptase include, magnificent reductions in pain. I've seen changes in people's, the healing rate of traumatic injuries, as well as improvements in markers such as C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker in the blood that's used to actually assess for cardiovascular disease state.